The Little Mermaid has officially hit theaters, and the audience results or reviews are coming in. And so far, according to MovieWeb, Little Mermaid debuts with strong audience scores. Little Mermaid is a hit with filmgoers drawing high praise with its audience scores. I wonder what they're referring to. Audiences are loving The Little Mermaid, a live action remake of the animated Disney film The Little Mermaid, made its premiere in movie theaters this weekend. Today's only Saturday. Weekend's not over, dude. And a look at the audience scores show that filmgoers are loving it. Upon its debut, the remake has been given a grade of A on CinemaScore. Let's see, which polls filmgoers on opening night to calculate a letter grade for any any given film. So, let's look at this one. Over at Rotten Tomatoes, reviews from critics are fairly mixed, but more on the positive side. The film has an approval rating of 67%. That's interesting. Meanwhile, the audience score is much higher, ranking at 95%. Well, that must make this a massive hit, according to Rotten Tomatoes, right? All the shill reviews, not the shill reviews, all the haters online, people, morons like me, sitting there talking about how this movie is a dumpster fire, the acting, the CGI. Well, go over to Rotten Tomatoes, and there's something very interesting happening here. We go to the tomato meter. Critic reviews, 67%. Audience score, 95%. Now that's all you see here. However, if you go a little deeper, we have a tomato meter from all critics, 67%, and an audience, verified audience of 95%. Now, what does any of that mean? Well, essentially what this means is that Rotten Tomatoes is trying to hide things from you. If you have all critics, well, why wouldn't you have all audiences as well? Oh, that's because it's a 51%, and that doesn't look good. Okay, well, if you have verified audience, why wouldn't you have top critics of it? Oh, that's a 46%, so that's not all that good. All critics versus top critics. Huh. It's almost like they're only wanting to show you what they want to show you, and that's no good. Now, are some of these audience scores people who haven't seen the movie? Yes, of course it is. But it's people on both sides. People giving it a 5-star review who have not seen the movie, and people giving it a 1-star review because they have not seen the movie. This is sketchy bullshit coming from Rotten Tomatoes. It's nothing that moviegoers haven't seen before, critics haven't seen before, people who actually dig into all this other stuff. But I am rather curious. Can we see? Let's see. Oh, go away. Let's check the verified ratings. I want all audiences. Yes, please. Go away. The kids and I loved it. I've heard a lot of things. Some of the reviews I've heard, kids loving it, actually liking the Aquafina rap song, and I can understand why. It's catchy, it's quick, it's fast, it's upbeat, all those other things. Oh, here's a half star. One of the worst Disney movies we have ever seen. The kids are afraid of the CGI, everything was CGI and not live action. That's another thing. This is touted as being live action, and yes, and yet a vast majority of it is CGI for obvious reasons. Why would you call it live action? Movie was amazing. All casting was perfect. Really? Casting for a mermaid is perfect. I can't read that. Can't read that. Ursula was the best character. Wait, you give it a 2-star and say Ursula was the best character. Prince Eric's song was so bad. Let's see. Let's find some that I can actually read. The forced racialization in Ariel and the Queen ruins the movie. How exactly? Maybe the storytelling and the acting might ruin the movie, but simple casting, I don't see a simple casting as ruining the movie. CGI was terrible. The new songs didn't work. It was about an hour too long and, in general, uninspiring. I've heard that a bit. Uninspiring ending to the movie. The parts that changes that they didn't make sense. Spoiler alert: they took the chef songs out, so this is half a star for me. The chef needs to be in this movie. Another failed live-action movie. I've got some bad news for you. I do not believe this movie will be a failure. It will make its budget back and then some, simply because the only thing that might stop this movie from having a good second weekend is the 2-hour and 20-minute runtime for kids. If this is supposed to be a movie for kids, Mario did it best. Mario was 90 minutes. It was rewatchable, and they were able to put more showings throughout the day. 2 hour and 20 minutes, you are limited as far as keeping the attention span of toddlers, as well as the number of showings that you can put out there. Word of mouth, again, I'm going to beat the dead horse yet again. Word of mouth is going to make or break this movie. If this is fun for the kids with no overly done, preachy, nonsensical message, parents are going to take their kids to see this again and again. That is what matters. The adults don't have to like this movie. It's not catered towards them. It's not geared towards them. If it's colorful, if it's fun, the kids are going to want to watch it. They're going to want to watch it again and again. And the parents, hey, parents are going to be parents. They're going to bring their kids to watch it. And that will be the end of it. This movie's going to it will make its budget back, probably close to, I think I predicted earlier, $750 to $800 million box office by the end of it. If the kids love this movie, it'll break $1 billion. Just like The Lion King, just like Aladdin, just like all these other live-action atrocities that actually hit the theaters outside of Pinocchio. Don't put day and date to live stream. Leave it in the theaters. Have actual faith. When you don't do that, when you put it on a streaming service, that means you don't have any faith in the work you're putting out there. Is that hard to comprehend? Movie was so mid, they had to hide the Metacritic score and replace it with the audience score to make it look good. Oof. Yeah, that's a lot what Rotten Tomatoes is doing. They're fudging the numbers. RT hiding audience. Yes, Rotten Tomatoes hiding audience reviews. Shame on you, Rotten Simps. Well, they're not hiding it here. They're just going straight to the verified audience. It's not something it's something they've done before over and over again. Terrible CGI. Yes, I've heard that. I'm going to be watching this movie some way, shape, or form. I don't know why, because I'm shitting all over it, and I have to put my money where my mouth is. Terrible CGI, poor performance by the protagonist, simple story. Well, the original was a simple story, so you can't, just a way to find money, alluding to childhood, waste of time in general. Yes, this movie is obviously a cash grab because of the other successes, the successful live-action movies. Whether you liked The Lion King or not, it was a massive success. Whether you liked Aladdin or not, it made over $1 billion at the box office. Same thing with the live-action Beauty and the Beast. Criticize it all you want, left, right, and center. It made money. And that's what this movie is going to do. It's going to make money. What are the critics saying? All critics. Halle Baby is a revelation. Go away. I'm not signing up to your website. This is what happens when you start thinking of films as content. Yes, rotten. What else we got? Story about mermaids and magic and talking fish. It doesn't need a political angle. I'll have to watch the movie to see if there is a legitimate political angle in it. It's the Hollywood studios and the actors and all the writers that made this political. If you had simply ignored the reaction to the casting, instead of calling everyone an istophobe, calling everyone a bigot, a racist, or whatever, the buzzwords. I talk about this again. Left it alone and let the movie breathe, let the trailers breathe, but you couldn't do that. The first thing out the gate is, well, you don't like it because you're a bigot. No, people weren't interested in the casting because of everything that's come before it. The casting of Ariel, not a mermaid, the casting of Ariel. And when you tried to argue against it, that it fits. That's when people started coming out with, technically, if mermaids did exist, blah, 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 blah. Once that's all said and done, I look at a movie for what the movie is. I couldn't care less about the casting, and that's the same thing I'm going to do. I'm going to judge this movie based on the original, how well it sticks to the storyline, what sort of message it puts forth, and ultimately the CGI, which I already know, based on the trailers, is absolute hot garbage. The faces don't match the bodies on the screen. They move around. I don't know what the right term for it is. But anyway, Rotten Tomatoes is going to Rotten Tomato, hiding the audience score, hiding the top critic score, for whatever reason, to try and get people to think one way or another. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Rotten Tomatoes is a good aggregate for any sort of critical review? Do you actually use Rotten Tomatoes to say, hey, this movie's good, this movie's bad? I would advise against it. Go find someone else that you trust. Leave a like, leave a dislike. Let me know what you think in the comments. Bye-bye.